So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and I also hope that you find it helpful somehow. And anyway, grab your coffee, and if you wanted to share with me while you're at it, links for that down below. And here we go. So today we are going to be talking about world hunger and how to fix it. And if your community is hungry, or you have a drought in your community and you don't have help from the government and things like this is a topic that is kind of universal, because food is going to be the meaning, or similarly to war in a lot of cases. It also can mean riots, and it can mean a lot of things. And so food is one of those topics that people think that they can fix by just buying food. I can tell you right now that that is a very, and I don't mean very short-term solution, meaning, okay, so you bought the food for today, but what are you going to do long-term forever? Because food for today is not going to last you very long. And so that is going to be an issue. And so I also have had somebody commenting me about the UN saying that they could fix all of these problems about world hunger and things like this with Elon Musk money. And I think it was like 1 or 2% of his money, or something like this. I do not know. and so according to my friend, they said Elon Musk was willing to give up that money as long as the money was spent in a way in which public people, anyone could know what it was being done with this money. Obviously, because when you're talking about an organization that is political, then you will have corruption, you will have expenses that are not related to the issue at hand. You will have other priorities that this organization might give money to, or things like this, because that can happen. And so at the end of the day, the problem will not be solved. It can actually even get worse. And so, yeah. So I'm going to tell you right now that it is a horrible idea to think that you can solve the problem of food with just money. The reason being is that money can only get you so far, and at the same time, money was meant to solve expenses, not problems. Problems you gotta solve with ideas, and problems you gotta solve with systems, and problems you gotta solve by identifying roots of issues. Problem. Food is one of those topics that I have told you before. Food is never, ever about actually food. That is just not the case. The reason being, when people talk about this topic, they don't consider that you are focusing on a tree, and you don't have a tree, you have an entire forest within a land that has 40 types of forest. So you have 40 types of forest, like deserts and forests and I don't know, islands and things like this, and they are all kinds of different things. Put it together, and then when you're talking about food, you're thinking, okay, there is a tree. No, there is not. It's more complicated than you can think about. So, if I was to be told, if I was, I don't know, if I was in the UN and they will say, okay, you are in charge of that Elon Musk's money or whatever, what will you do to solve the problem about food? Now, I am biased here because I have several things that you probably already know. I have several uncles and aunts and friends that are either into agriculture, farming, and things like this within the city, and others that are for educational purposes, because my aunt and my uncle, they have a lot of master's degrees and engineers and things like this about food and about you see, agricultural purposes are separated into several topics. The first one will be obviously the plants. The second one will be production, as in animal food, like terrestrial animal food. So you have something like people will talk to you about pigs, chicken, and all kinds of things. And then there is marine or aquatic food, because somebody who specializes in production of fish and things like this, they probably are different than the ones that are for obviously terrestrial things. And so you have three types of people that specialize in things. And then you have also the people that specialize in not plants, but rather fungi and flowers. Because not everybody understands mushrooms, and not everybody understands flowers for eating. And so you gotta separate all of those topics separately, because food is related to also nutrition. Now, nutrition means that your body might be starving, and it might be like, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, and that is because you have a sensation that you are not getting something. But your body is not going to tell you, hey, I'm lacking calcium, magnesium, or zinc, or whatever it is. Your body is just going to tell you, hey, I'm hungry. And so a lot of the times it was proven that 1 out of 10 times that you are hungry, you are actually thirsty. And it was proven that around half of the times that you are eating is because emotional eating and because of lack of nutrition. What does that mean? Well, it means that our ancestors used to eat a tomato that had, I think it was 20% more calcium, and it had way more minerals like magnesium, zinc, and all kinds of things, selenium, copper, and all kinds of things that the food that we are currently eating does not have. This means that our ancestors ate twice a day with tomatoes and things like this, one tomato and things like this, and their body was filled because the body went, okay, I already have all the calcium I need, no more. But if you are now going to eat the tomato and you're going to get the calcium, you are going to probably need 2 or 3 or 4 tomatoes. The reason being, well, it's processed and it doesn't have the calcium, and your body is kind of like, I'm not satisfied, I don't have nutrition and things like this. And so you have different issues. And also, when you're talking about hunger, you also need to consider that to produce food and all of these things, you need clean water. You cannot use water that is just from any kind of source. The reason being, you are polluting the soil, and at the same time, the plant might actually die, and you have all kinds of things related to water. And so the topic about fixing the world's hunger is not as easy as it seems. I mean, think about it. Everybody can have a little bit of a space to have a small garden, and that doesn't mean that you will solve the problem with food. So it's not like that. So having said that, then what will I do? Well, number one, because for the sake of clarity and clarification, I will probably say that I'm going to collect a salary. I don't know, a salary, because I'm going to be working with this project, right? And then I will probably have to pay a lot of people salaries for doing certain things. So the first thing will be to say who is going to work here and how much money are they going to be receiving, and I will do this on a weekly basis. I will not do this per month. I will do this on a weekly basis. And I will also do it by goals, meaning this week I want this goal done, the next week is that goal done, and if we can't, we can have several projects going on at once, but that will be by goals. And so by the way, and the reason being is that if you have world hunger, or if you have a particular community hunger, then obviously you having your garden is not going to fix the problem for the whole community. And so you gotta have a lot of people involved in terms of education and in terms of social media. These two things are different. The reason being, well, anybody can do social media, but and some people are more prone to be influencers than others. There are others that are teachers that are different, and most people will not be so interested in being in a class for 2 hours about one topic, and so it balances out. So you need people that is into education, and you also need people that is into social media. So you need to settle this out the first time. So that will be the first thing. You talk about people. The second part that I will talk about money will be solving issues that are extremely important. So the first thing that I will do is promote at least, depending upon the money that I have, at least maybe 100 to 500 boats that clean rivers. Not the ocean, rivers. They are different. These are boats that will go to a river, clean the river, and then they will put all of the trash into a particular point, and in that particular area, you can build a plant that or an industry that can create electricity out of trash. So that's what I will do. I will do this mostly in Indonesia, India, China. Like I said, you will need a lot of people that is into education, and you will also need a lot of people that is into diplomacy, so that you can get the visas and you can get all of these things, because working internationally is very, 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 very hard, because you need a lot of paperwork, you need laws, you need translators, you need documentation, you need permits, you need to know what the locals are thinking, because sometimes the locals will say no. Even if you come to a local and say, hey, this will bring 300 jobs, and they will go, no, we don't want it, and things like this. So you gotta know. And so there are a lot of things that are going to be needed for that aspect. And so you build these boats, or you ask for these boats, and you clean the most contaminated rivers in the world that are in India, Indonesia, China, Thailand, and other places that require a lot of cleaning. You see, if you clean the ocean, but you don't clean the rivers, then whatever is on the rivers will continue to pollute the ocean. So the first thing, clean the rivers. That way, no more bad things are going into the ocean. So first, stop the problem. Stop contaminating the ocean. So clean the rivers. That will be the first thing. You do this by buying, like I said, at least 100 to maybe 500. And these boats do not require a lot of maintenance. I think that they are solar powered. You can see these boats on a lot of YouTube channels that are for travelers and people that are actually trying to save the world. So that will be the first one. Now, at this point, let's say that they take about 6 months, maybe a year, to clean the rivers. Then at this point, let's say that I start week 1. Week 1, I'm going to get the boats. I'm going to get the people. Week 2, I'm going to get the boats. So week 1, I'm going to talk to the people, and I'm going to ask so that everyone around, you ask them how, what do they think about their rivers? As in, do they think that their rivers are contaminated or not? Now, how do you understand that a river is clean? most people will think if the water is clean, then the river is clean. That is just not truth. To the point in which if you go into a river and you get into the water and the water was completely transparent, you might actually die. Why? Well, because that thing was not water. And not only that, but you see, there are a lot of liquids that are transparent, and there are a lot of liquids that are not clean for you to drink them, or for you to bathe in them and things like this. And so the actual test for rivers to be clean is, can you see a lot of people fishing? You see, fish will know whether the water is clean or not. and to the point in which, let's say Thailand. In Thailand, there used to be 40 types of fishes in more than 100 rivers. But right now, there is only 2 or 3 types of fish for the entire country. That tells you that you lost all of the fishes. You also lost all of the food, because 40 years ago, people could go into the river, eat 20 different type of fish, and go home. Now, there's only one type of fish, and you are not even sure that you are going to get it, because the river is polluted or whatever, and then you can't eat that fish. So, you gotta understand that our ancestors fought for their food, or at least looked for their food, but now we can't. And so, fix the problems. The first problem, clean the rivers to the point in which fishes come back to the rivers. If the fishes come back to the river, then people will be able to fish, and at the same time, this will mean that the water is clean. And if this water is clean, it can be used for agricultural purposes without you having to pay for it. Because the other problem that you have with agriculture is that getting into agriculture requires so much infrastructure and so much money. It's insane the amount of money that right now you will need. And I know, I mean, seriously, you need irrigation, pay for the water, pay for this, pay for that, pay for this. It is insane. And so, no. And if you have animals, then you have to pay for a lot of other stuff. Don't get me started on that topic. So, no, hell no. Just clean the rivers. It will attract tourists. It will attract fish. It will clean the water so that anyone can use it for irrigation. And at the same time, it will stop polluting the ocean. And if it stops polluting the ocean, then all of the fishes in the ocean will be closer to the shore. If the fish are going closer to the shore because now it's not so polluted or whatever, then you can fish easier. And so that will be the first thing. The second thing, it will be buying the same boats but for cleaning the ocean, because now you clean the rivers. Good. Now you gotta clean the ocean. And now you also have the advantage of having several points in which trash, you can just drop it there, because even if you are in the ocean, you can drop the trash here, and the boats that were in the river can translate, as in move all of this trash from the shore to upriver, like 100 miles there or 300 miles up, and it will be okay. And so all of the trash it has a place to go. Because the other problem that these people have, the ones that are dealing with this issue, they are cleaning, but where are they putting all of this trash? You see, for doing this, you need recycling centers that actually work, and you need, like I said, centers for producing electricity with these things. So you gotta think about the logistics. Okay, I clean, I put this in here, somebody collects it here, they are going to send it here and here. So you gotta have treatment plants and things like this, which is something that we do not currently have. And so you have a lot of trash that it is polluting the sources of main food for more than half of the population in the entire planet, which are eating things from the sea and the rivers. And so if that comes back, you will have more impact than anything else. The second thing, like I said, will be cleaning the oceans. And the third thing, it will be making sure that I will select, let's say, depending upon, like I said, I do not know how much money this is, right? Let's assume that it is somewhat a big quantity. Enough for these things, because building these boats, not cheap. Building this structure and hiring all these people to do all this job, not so cheap either. You will think, oh no, it's just $10,000. No, it's not. It's probably, we are talking now, and if we're talking 100 or maybe 500 boats that are doing daily cleaning, and you have that much trash and that much things, yeah, you are talking about millions of dollars right there. Millions, just there. That's why people that are into this kind of thing, they haven't been able to pull it together, because it is millions of dollars to create the infrastructure, not the boats per se, but also the infrastructure and the logistics. You need too much people involved. And so it's not easy. Like I said, also you need regulations, lawyers, and all of these things, because they will be involved. And so we are talking serious things here. So let's say that after you spend 100 million, you still have 400 or 500 million more, so to speak. You clean the ocean, that is 150 million, maybe more. Let's say that you already spent 10% of your money just doing that. Now, you will select, let's say, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 towns. Small towns, villages in which you have issues with desertification, and you have issues because of too much heat, and you have issues because pollution, and because of so many other freaking things. Because this is important. You can't have food in places that are fully contaminated. Why not? Well, you can't produce food in there because no plant will grow and things like this. And also because if you have all of these things, when you have this will contaminate the soil, and this will also contaminate the water, and this will be like a loop. How do you fix that one? Our ancestors fixed that one by building pigeon towers. Pigeon towers, you can look them up on the internet, and this is basically kind of clay kind of houses that are like a bullet. They have like a bullet form. Most of the times they will be like a bullet, and you close them up with a lot of sticks all together and a lot of things, and all you have to do is place water on it, and you need clearing on the bottom, and you need something to carry the poop from the pigeons. Now, the reason being, pigeons, once they start being into these towers, they will start pooping all over. Now, if you do this in a city where people do not know what to do with the poop, and people do not, they go kind of like, this will contain a lot of fungi, and I will get sick and things like this, blah blah blah. By the way, that you are right, and that's why having pigeons, for example, in your house might be an issue, because you need a structure in which you have the bottom empty. That way you can collect the poop, you use a shovel, put it into a carry container or stuff like this. And this poop has a lot of nutrients. By the way, you do not need to feed the pigeons, meaning you do not need to buy food for them. It's just water. Pigeons will find their way to get in their own food. You just need water. And so the pigeons will produce all this poop, and this poop is extremely strong for fixing soils, and it is also extremely strong for protecting the soil from other stuff, mostly because of the materials that pigeons have for poop. It's different from bats a little bit, but this poop is so valuable, to the point in which our ancestors used to fight wars for the poop that bats had and the poop that pigeons had, because you can even they were ancestors that used to create gunpowder with the pigeons poop and with the bats poop, because it contains a lot of materials that are explosive and things like that. Of course, not along with that one. If you have poop, it's not going to explode or something like this, like gunpowder will. But it is a mixture, and it is a process in which you can take these things and put them together and do all that. So these materials were extremely valuable. The reason being, you take this poop, you place it into the desert, and it will sustain the land. It will not blow up because of the wind, and it will just be there, and it will retain heat, and because it will retain heat, it will protect the underground, and whatever you throw in there, it will grow. So even if you are in the middle of the desert, you could have an oasis, for all I know. And you can even build an island within the desert if you were to put all of this poop all together. Because the poop, like I said, it will protect the soil from the heat, it will protect the soil from the wind, it will protect the seeds, and it will nurture the seeds, and it will nurture everything. And so all you have to do, and pigeons will attract other bigger animals, because pigeons are edible for all kinds of animals, including but not limited to big, huge birds. Huge birds eat small birds. Pigeons are not, tiny like this size, but they are like this size. And if you have, other birds that are like this size, they are going to eat them. And so you have birds that are huge that are now coming, and when birds that are huge that are coming, they will also help pollinize, and it will be an oasis for all kinds of other animals. Other animals like foxes and stuff like this, they will also eat pigeons. And so now you have all kinds of other animals that are trying to get here because the food is here. And so if you also put water on the bottom, you will have animals that are coming all over the place, and these animals will help you with the entire thing of reducing the pollution and helping you for producing food. Because before, if you wanted to sustain one plant in the desert or something like this, you can't. But now you throw it in there and you let the pigeons do their job, and you put the poop in there and all of these things, and congratulations, you just created a forest in the middle of a desert. See what I mean? Now it's a lot of work. Oh God, it's a lot of work. But it is doable. And at the same time, this thing will help lower the temperature. If you lower the temperature, this also means that the plants will grow, and there will be other benefits in the same community and things like this. And so it's a win-win situation for everybody. And so, by the way, at this point, let's say that you're building those towers, and that tower can hold 100 pigeons, but now the population of the pigeons is 500. So guess what is going to have for dinner? A lot of people will very likely set up the traps so that you can eat pigeons. Pigeons, I think it was the 14th or the 15th most eaten animal in the entire planet in quantities. Of course, number one is chicken. You can't compare anything to a chicken. I mean, seriously, we kill on average on average, globally, I think that yearly, per year, I think that the average was, I think, 9 or 10 chickens per person. Okay, 9 or 10 chickens per person, just for food. So you can imagine. I mean, but pigeons is not. Pigeons is I think pigeons are not that much. Um, because obviously you are sustaining pigeons, but not that much. So you are helping that community to get pigeons. You are helping that community to get fertilizer. You are helping that community to protect the soil and things like this. Which, if you were going to pay for repairing the soil in a particular area, so that you can do agriculture and things like this, it will be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's say that you want to buy a land, and you want to prepare the soil in that land so that you can grow sunflowers or whatever it is. Yeah, you gotta prepare the soil, and preparing the soil is going to cost you thousands of dollars. But here, with this, yeah, it's going to cost you water and labor. Water, labor, that's it. It's not going to cost you more. And so whatever you need fertilizer, for all I know, there will be a point in which you have so much fertilizer that you can even export it or share it to another community. And so our ancestors, I think that they used to build 5 or 10 of these things all together in a different town. And so that will be the third thing that I will do. I will very likely do that one to help, because the other problem that agriculture people have is that you're buying fertilizer, and this fertilizer is mostly chemicals and things like this, and it actually helps you the first time that you are growing food, but the second time the soil is destroyed. And if the soil is destroyed, if you're going to replant, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars to just replant. It's not sustainable, it's not doable, period. But with this, it's doable, getting money, getting pigeons, getting everything. That's it. So I will consider doing that, like I said, for maybe 1,000 to 10,000 towns, so small towns, that villages, towns where there is, I don't know, let's say 100 to 500 people, and then they can work together and they can get all of these things. That can solve their problem. Now, we have fixed a little bit the problem with water. We have fixed a little bit the problem with fertilizers. Maybe not that much, but like I said, small scale. Because you can't solve the problem for everybody at once. You are talking 10,000 people, 10,000 problems, because you have 10,000 places, and each place and each thing will be entirely different. And so you gotta go with what ancestors did very slowly, and very certain that it will impact the most. It will not just impact, very small communities. Now, if you have a small community, like I said, of these towns, that is, now they are able to produce 500 trees. Let's say 3 years from now, 500 trees. If it is for let's say that each tree will produce, let's say, 10 kilos. So you have all that fruit. Let's say that it is, I don't know, guava or lemon or something like this. You have all that fruit for 100 people. Obviously, they're not going to consume it all. So you are going to be helping the locals, because they are going to be trading it to the neighbors. And so now you have a supply that it is everywhere. Now, at this point, I am going to go bold, because now that I have settled the main things, which is water, and the other one, which is a little bit of the fertilizer problem, now I'm going to go bold. I'm going to invest into new technology that it is related to light, but not for food. but rather for radiation. And then you go, what? Okay, how many power plants do you know that are in the world? There are at least, as far as I can tell, I think they were 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 globally, maybe more. Last time I read in the United States, there were more than 2,000 alone working. So you have all kinds of power plants that obviously produce radiation and obviously produce pollution and obviously produce huge damages, and they are not saved from emergencies. So for example, in Japan there was a Fukushima plant that now is leaking all of that radiation into the ocean. So you have Chernobyl, you have had, so many things that can go wrong with this radiation. It's just insanity level. Now, you also have the nuclear bombs, and you also have traces of radiation in a lot of places, and then there will be issues with that land, because obviously when you have a leakage of radiation or something like this, then there is an entire area which used to produce food, now you can't. Which used to produce water, now you don't have that water, or if you are touching that water, it's fully contaminated. And you have all of those things. However, it was proven on a small scale that if you have radiation and you put UV light on it, as in purple light, purple, the color, extremely important, purple, the radiation is gone. And so what will happen if you were going to invest into creating this light system or something like this to solve emergencies like the one from Fukushima or Chernobyl or whatever it is, and to clean all of the soil and all of the water that has been contaminated with radiation? You could literally save all of that areas, and you will have food that is not going to be damaged because of this, and you will have all of that area, that is going to be okay. So you have no more refugees of displacements because of radiation. You will have a way to handle emergencies later. And the reason why Elon Musk may be into this thing is because I know that he is into space. So if he is into space and traveling and all of these things, I have a question. What happens if you can apply this light, UV light, into other places? I don't know, let's say Mars, Uranus, whatever it is, the moon, whatever it is. And you can apply this same thing to hostile things and clean them so that you can recreate certain things like on Earth, but you can recreate them there because of light. And so that it's going to be extremely interesting. The reason why governments will not do this is probably because if you have an emergency and you call the government and the government then fix the problem, then they are the heroes. They are probably not going to be too interested into solving this thing. Seriously, they will be kind of like, yeah, it was an accident. This thing happened, by the way, they're right. But it's not like we can fix it. Yeah, I mean, seriously, this research about, because try to imagine, this is huge spaces, okay? These are for all I know, miles, entire miles of land that you probably need to cover with this type of light. I do not know how long it will take, and it will require power, as in electricity and things like this to get there, and it will require drones or all kinds of other technologies, and at this point it will be very, very, very expensive. and you will need research because you gotta prove it, okay? Because it's not like, okay, I think that this will do this. Yeah, you need to select one piece and then prove it into that area so that people can actually grow things into that area again, again, again. And at this point, you will also save future wars. Because if you go and pollute the ocean, and you are a country, and you are polluting the ocean, and this ocean is also going to be used for other countries for food, because there are hunting grounds that are in common. But because of you, because of this accident, you didn't do it on purpose. It's not like you woke up and said, oh yeah, I'm going to create World War III. That doesn't happen, okay? But there are things that happen. And so you accidentally leak the whole radiation thing in Fukushima, and now you destroyed the entire food source of the ocean for all of those people. Because now, if you eat this kind of fish and all these kind of things, they will all be contaminated with radiation. And so, other countries that you collide with might actually go into war with you because you should have done something to prevent this or whatever. But the truth is that all governments know that they don't know how to deal with this problem. However, if you have a company that already knows how to fix this, because there is a company that already proved this could be done with the UV light, I will probably go with them and say, hey, I would like to know if you can do this big scale, and if you can do this big scale, then how much is it going to be, and things like this, and how can we prove it, and let's work together, because then we can, if there is a problem like this, you can actually ask for contracts for entire countries that says, hey, I'm going to clean up all your radiation, hey, I'm going to clean up this thing, I'm going to clean up this, that, or that, this, and this, and that. And so there are huge contracts to be won in the future. And for all I know, there might even be insurance companies involved, because if you don't have to, you see, if there is a land that now needs to be evacuated, the insurance company might need to pay. So now you can also get the insurance companies involved, and you can get a lot of support. I'm sure that this will be one of those topics, but the most important part is that, let's say that right now there are 20 accidents of nuclear accidents, 20 accidents in the entire globe. Then you have 20 places that used to produce food. Let's say that this happens, God forbid, in California. California exports food for the entire planet. So if something like this happens in California, then they won't be able to export it. If they won't export it, then yeah, no more food. Because that is where this thing was. But here comes the UV light to the rescue. No problem, just give us a month. Or whatever it is. We will clean it up. And you can continue. I mean, you're not going to continue with the food that has been contaminated or whatever, unless they can use the UV light for that. But you don't have to worry for next year, because it will be clean, and then you can start over. You don't have to wait hundreds of years, and you don't have to vacate, and you don't have to create all of these humanitarian things in which now food is going to have to be delivered in weird things to refugee camps and things like this. You can just clean and fix it. Now, this will also give you a lot of popularity, because if you go in there and you go saving the day, that might be a political issue, because you are going to have all kinds of things. Like I said, food has never been about food. Politics has never been about actual politics and things like this. It's not what people think. It's never, never ever what people think. It's just beyond that insanity level. Now, I will also ask for other stuff, but it will depend upon the budget. I mean, let's assume that I can do these things and I still have money, then I will continue this in another video. But so far, this is what I will do. And I'm guessing that there will be other stuff, but mostly, like I said, yeah, I will do them through social media and education. You see, if you start educating people about flowers that can be eaten, then people will start growing flowers in their houses. If you start doing that, then you start lowering the temperature everywhere, and you start helping people and making people understand that food comes from nature, and you're supposed to work with nature, not work against that, and things like this. And so that is what I will do so far. Maybe I will do more, but like I said, it will depend upon the budget. I hope this was helpful somehow, and thank you for staying tuned. See you again soon.